Julia froze. A faint hum drifted up from the pit, soft at first, then growing clearer, like whispers slipping through the cracks of the earth. She knelt beside the fractured brick, brushing away the dust with careful hands. That's when she saw it. Half buried in ash and bone, a beautiful blue crystal lay wedged between the charred ruins. Even under the relentless midday sun, it pulsed with a soft blue glow, as if it were alive. The sound seemed to come from it, steady and rhythmic, syncing with her heartbeat, until she couldn't tell where the humming ended and she began. Sweat trickled down her forehead as she reached out. Her fingers brushed the cool surface, and the hum deepened. A quiet shiver ran through her spine. Julia exhaled sharply. "It's just another artifact," she thought, as she placed it into a metal container, watching the glow dim as she shut the lid. Yet she couldn't shake the sense that this discovery was something significant. Across the field, Sam hunched over a delicate piece of pottery, his hands moving with practiced precision. Though chipped at the edges, its intricate design spoke of a civilization that had thrived before its sudden, brutal collapse. Julia walked toward him, soil crunching under her boots. "Sam," she called softly, her voice barely carrying above the breeze. He didn't look up at first, his focus entirely on the pottery in his hands. "Sam," she repeated, more firmly this time, stepping closer. He looked up, blinking under the harsh sunlight. His brown curls were matted with sweat, and his usually calm eyes held a trace of something else. Worry? "What's up?" he asked. "I found something," Julia said, glancing back at the container in her hands. "Something strange." He straightened. "Strange?" She nodded. When she opened the box, the glow spilled faintly onto his face. Sam stared. "Is it glowing?" "Yes, I think so." He picked it up, turning it in his hands. The blue light played across the cracks in its surface. "Beautiful," Sam whispered. "But it's broken. Look here, this kind of fracture doesn't look like heat damage." Julia leaned closer. "It looks like it shattered from the inside." "What if it's luminescent?" she offered. Sam frowned. "Fluorescence only shows under UV." He pulled a flashlight from his belt, flicked it on, and shined it over the crystal. Nothing changed. "It isn't that," he concluded. The silence between them deepened. "Whatever this is," Sam said, placing it back into the box, "it doesn't seem natural." "That we know of," Julia said as she crossed her arms. "There's something off about the whole site. The melted bricks, the skeletal remains, the strange seals, and now this." Sam nodded, his expression grim. "We've picked up some unusual energy signatures during scans. Nothing matches known radiation patterns. It's odd." Julia's heart skipped a beat, worried. "Energy readings? What kind?" "We don't know, but whatever caused it left behind discoloration and localized heat damage on almost everything, including some of the bones." Her gaze drifted over the site. 147 new skeletons, Sam began, adding to the 273 we've already found. And they're scattered in the strangest places. Bodies in the streets, like they were running. Others inside homes, some huddled together. It's as if something happened so suddenly they had no time to escape. Julia's gaze quietly drifted from Sam to the crystal. Sam looked at the container again. "I'm not sure we should even be touching it." "All right," Julia took a deep breath. "We need to document everything meticulously. Every detail about the crystal, its composition, its structure, and exactly where we found it. Our analysis has to be airtight, backed by solid evidence." Sam nodded slowly, his earlier unease tempered by her resolve. "You're right. We need proper testing. Geochemical, spectral, anything that can tell us what we're dealing with." Julia's expression softened into a determined smile. "We stick to the process. Let the data guide us." A heavy silence settled between them, broken only by the distant sounds of the dig site. Julia's mind drifted, not to the bones, or the heat, or the strange symbols on the seals they found, but to the thought of the email she had received. Should I tell him? She thought to herself. She still remembered the exact words. The excavation at Mohenjo-Daro will be your greatest accomplishment, one that could change the course of history. But more than that, it must be done. The truth demands it. She had brushed it off at first, dismissing it as the kind of cryptic nonsense that often floated around in their line of work. But the deeper they dug at the site, the more those words clawed their way back into her mind. Sam was her unwavering support, the one person she trusted without question in her field. But she'd made up her mind. She wasn't going to tell him about the email. Not yet. Part of her knew he'd disapprove, maybe even pull back from the project entirely. It's better this way, she told herself. We're already juggling too much. It was a cleaner excuse than the truth. Managing the excavation, fending off media questions, meeting deadlines, handling pressure from the academic board, it was already a delicate balance. And dragging Sam into something he hadn't signed up for might tip the whole thing over. Still, the silence tasted bitter. Before she could think on it further, a junior archaeologist approached, her face flushed with urgency. "Julia!" "Sam?" "A camera crew just showed up. Some reporter from the Daily News. He says he won't leave without an interview." Julia shot Sam a glance. Sam groaned. Of course he did. This guy's been calling for days now. Julia rolled her eyes. Fine. Just tell him to wait a few minutes. She got up, walked to her tent with the metal box, and tucked it inside her backpack. As she zipped it shut, she began mentally preparing herself to face the media. It will be fine, she told herself. You've got this. Just as she started to leave, a quiet instinct surfaced. Don't mention the crystal. Not yet. The voice faded as she joined Sam to meet the reporters. But inside the metal box, the crystal pulsed like it had awakened. And somewhere not far from the ruins, within a black pouch, another shard pulsed back.